It's actually kind of fascinating how sensitive our internal radar is when it comes to like being sold to.
Oh, absolutely. It's a highly tuned defense mechanism at this point.
Right. Like, think about your own behavior for a second. You're scrolling through your social media feed and you're looking at pictures of friends' dogs or, I don't know, a vacation photo, a relatable meme.
The usual stuff.
Yeah, the usual stuff. And then you see a post from a creator you usually like, but they're holding up a product or maybe pointing to a software dashboard
And you just know.
instantly.
Yeah.
Within a fraction of a second, before you even consciously read a single word of the caption, your brain just goes, nope, that is an ad.
Yeah, it's almost a visceral reaction, honestly, because we've developed this incredible, just highly tuned spam filter in our minds over the last decade of being on the internet.
We really have.
The moment the tone shifts, even slightly, from sharing a helpful discovery to, pitching a product for a payout, the trust just evaporates.
The walls go right up.
Exactly. We shift immediately from being a receptive community member to a defensive consumer.
And that defensive consumer is exactly who we are talking about today. Because today we're doing a deep dive into bypassing that mental spam filter.
Which is so needed right now.
It really is. We are cracking open the APL 013 Affiliate Content Starter Lab. It's this complete masterclass on how to use AI to build affiliate content.
And not just any content, but content that actually sounds human, honest, and helpful.
Right. Because our mission today is to figure out why truly effective affiliate content has to be built as a repeatable trust-first workflow, not just, a random link drop on your timeline.
Yeah, if you've ever used AI to write a promotional post and felt like it sounded like a late-night infomercial wearing a fake mustache,
Which is the best visual ever.
then this deep dive is absolutely for you. We're going to break down the exact system to create content that actually helps a buyer make a decision without sounding spammy.
Let's get into it. I'm so glad we are tearing into this because that phrase, the ad wearing a fake mustache, it perfectly encapsulates the core issue here.
It really does. The traditional way people approach affiliate marketing is just, it's fundamentally broken.
Yeah. It usually starts from a place of panic, doesn't it?
Yes. The sources we're looking at brilliantly term this commission panic.
Commission panic. I love the phrase, but it also sounds incredibly stressful.
Oh, it is.
I'm just picturing someone frantically refreshing their affiliate dashboard to see if they made $1. What does that actually look like in practice, when someone sits down to work?
It's basically the absolute worst way to start an endorsement. Commission panic is when a creator or a small business owner, or really anyone, decides they want to make some affiliate income. So they start with the finish line.
The link.
Exactly. They find a product that has a good commission structure, they sign up, they grab their unique affiliate URL, and then the panic sets in.
Because now they have to actually sell it.
Right. They think, uh-oh, I need to get this in front of eyeballs right now. So they immediately run over to an AI tool, like GPT or whatever.
And let me guess. They just paste the link into the prompt box and type something incredibly lazy.
Yep. Something like, write me a viral post about this product so people buy it.
Oh, wow. And then they just copy whatever the AI spits out, paste it onto LinkedIn, and hope that anyone, clicks the link.
That's the entire workflow for so many people, and it fails miserably.
But wait, let me push back on that for a second, because I know what a lot of people listening are probably thinking.
Sure.
Isn't the whole point of using these massive AI models to do the heavy lifting for you?
Yeah.
I mean, if I have this incredibly powerful supercomputer at my fingertips, why can't I just say, sell this product and let the machine figure out the best psychological triggers?
Well, that right there is the most common trap. And it fundamentally misunderstands how large language models actually function. To understand why commission panic generates garbage, you have to understand the mechanics of the AI itself. An LLM operates on predictive text. It is essentially a hyper-advanced autocomplete.
Right, predicting the next word.
Exactly. It predicts the most statistically likely next word based on the prompt you give it and the vast ocean of data it was trained on.
Okay, so if I type, sell this product to get me a commission.
If you give it that context, the AI searches its neural network for the mathematical average of all sales copy on the internet.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And what does the average internet sales copy sound like?
It sounds like a used car salesman.
Exactly. It sounds like a scammy infomercial. because the AI doesn't have any actual context about you or your specific audience.
So it just panics, too, in a way.
It does what any algorithm does when deprived of constraints.
Mhm.
It hallucinates generic enthusiasm. It relies on hyperbole.
Right, it starts saying things like, unlock your ultimate potential today.
Or the #1 tool everyone needs.
It's writing the fake mustache. It's writing a parody of a marketer because that's the data it has to pull from.
Precisely. And this broken workflow, it leads to very recognizable types of weak content. You end up with like a dry list of software features with absolutely zero context as to why a real human being should care.
I've seen so many of those posts.
Or worse, it generates content that sounds like a fake review from someone who has clearly never touched the product in their life.
Right. So the core problem here isn't the fact that people are using AI to write.
Not at all.
The problem is using AI before defining the actual recommendation, putting the cart before the horse.
Exactly.
There's an analogy in the Starter Lab that I absolutely have to bring up because it made me literally laugh out loud.
Oh, the raccoon.
Yes, the raccoon. It describes the phenomenon of asking an AI for a full funnel, an automated email sequence, an SEO cluster, a launch campaign, all in the very first pass.
Just everything all at once.
Right. And the source says doing that is exactly how your workflow turns into a raccoon in a filing cabinet.
It is such a vivid image, isn't it?
It really is.
Just absolute chaos. You've got papers flying everywhere. It's completely unorganized. It's making a ton of noise.
But achieving absolutely nothing of value.
Exactly. When you ask an AI to instantly generate an entire marketing ecosystem without giving it a core philosophy first, you get the raccoon.
So the AI is an incredible engine, but an engine without a steering wheel just crashes you into a wall faster.
That's a great way to put it. It cannot organically generate trust. It can't guess your personal relationship with a product.
And it certainly can't guess exactly who in my specific audience actually needs it.
Right. The AI needs a spine. It needs to know why the product belongs in front of the buyer.
Because if you just tell it to sell this, the AI assumes everyone is the buyer.
And as any good marketer will tell you, when you speak to everyone, you speak to no one.
Which is exactly what triggers that spam filter we talked about. If I see a post that says, every business owner needs this software, I immediately know the person writing it hasn't thought about my specific business. So to bypass that, the content needs a structural foundation, a foundation of truth and specificity. And that brings us to what the lab calls the mandatory pre-drafting step.
Yes.
Before you even open a drafting AI, before you write a single prompt, you have to create this foundational document.
The product that snapshot.
The product's a snapshot.
Yeah.
Let's spend some serious time here because this really seems to be the linchpin of the entire system.
It absolutely is. You do not touch a drafting AI until this snapshot is complete.
Okay, so let's role play this a bit. Let's say I want to be an affiliate for a piece of software. Let's make one up. We'll call it TaskFlow Pro. It's a project management tool. How do I build this spine?
Okay, so the product fit snapshot is essentially a tightly defined recommendation brief. It forces you to answer the critical questions that make a recommendation authentic well before the AI has a chance to hallucinate anything.
Got it.
It's broken down into a few distinct parts. First, you have to define the specific buyer. Second, the exact buyer problem.
Okay, buyer and problem.
Third, the fit reason, meaning why this specific tool solves that specific problem. And fourth, what is arguably the most powerful part of this entire framework, the buyer boundary.
The buyer boundary, meaning explicitly defining who should not buy it.
Exactly.
We're definitely going to dig deep into that part, but let's start in the top. The buyer. If I'm selling TaskFlow Pro, my instinct as a marketer is to define the buyer as business owners or maybe entrepreneurs.
Or freelancers.
Right, freelancers.
Yeah.
Because I want the biggest addressable market so I can get the most clicks. But the framework specifically says to avoid broad labels. Why is that?
Because a broad label is a lazy label, and lazy labels create generic AI copy.
Oh, that makes sense.
If you tell an AI to write for business owners, the AI is going to use the most watered-down language possible. I mean, a multinational corporation's CEO and a solo dog walker are both technically business owners.
But their daily realities have literally zero overlap.
Right. So if you want the AI to write compelling copy, you have to give it the exact coordinates of who it is talking to.
Okay, so how specific do I need to get with this?
Incredibly specific. You want to add a role, situation, or a specific buying moment. So instead of business owners, the framework suggests something like photo booth owners choosing event marketing tools.
Oh, wow. That is specific.
Yeah. For your fictional task flow pro, instead of just freelancers, your buyer might be freelance graphic designers managing 5 to 10 concurrent client projects who are drowning in email revisions.
Oh, I can instantly see how that changes the output.
Right.
If I feed that specific persona into an LLM, it changes the entire vocabulary of the post.
Completely.
It won't talk about abstract corporate synergy or enterprise ROI. It'll automatically start talking about version control and client feedback loops and missing an email attachment.
Exactly. You're anchoring the AI in a specific reality. You're constraining its predictive text engine to a highly relevant vocabulary space.
That is so smart. Okay, so now let's move to the second element, the buyer problem.
So this needs to be a practical situation, not just a vague pain point. Vague would be they need to save time or they're disorganized.
Because everyone wants to save time. It means nothing.
Exactly. So a specific, strong problem for our freelance graphic designer, it wouldn't just be they lose track of tasks.
Right. It would be something like they are currently tracking revisions in long email threads, which causes them to miss client feedback, resulting in delayed projects and unpaid invoices.
Perfect. That places the buyer in a specific moment of pain, and ideally you want to identify a buying moment too.
Like what?
For example, you could add they need a beginner-friendly option without a complicated setup because they are currently comparing tools before choosing a paid plan.
Ah, that tells the AI that the reader is at the comparison stage.
Yes, they have their credit card out, but they are hesitating. That is a very specific emotional and practical state.
Okay, so we know exactly who we're talking to and exactly what is keeping them up at night. The third part of the snapshot is the fit reason. Why does TaskFlow Pro actually solve this problem?
And here is where I usually see affiliate content go completely off the rails with empty praise.
The carnival barking.
Yes, the carnival barking. The fit reason shouldn't be, because it's the absolute best tool on the market, and it will revolutionize your agency.
Because that's just hype.
It's pure hype. The fit reason needs to be factual and grounded. Something like, this product fits because it has a dedicated client portal feature that automatically turns email replies into task comments, and the entry price point is affordable for a solo freelancer.
I see. It's about structural alignment, not emotional hype.
Exactly.
If the problem is messy email threads, the fit reason is that it turns emails into tasks. It's a direct, logical bridge.
A direct bridge.
Okay, here is where it gets really interesting. Let's spend some time on this fourth element, the buyer boundary.
This is my favorite part.
This is where you explicitly state who the product is not for or who should skip it. And I am going to challenge this because when I first encountered this concept, it felt entirely counterintuitive to the goal of making money.
It is the most counterintuitive part of the system, and it is also the most crucial.
Look, if I'm running a side hustle and my affiliate links are only getting, say, 50 clicks a month, every single click matters to my bottom line.
Sure.
It's like being a bouncer at a club, but instead of trying to pack the house,
Yeah.
I'm specifically standing out front, telling certain people that the music inside isn't for them. Doesn't turning people away literally lose you commissions?
It's a phenomenal question, and it's the exact point where amateur affiliate marketers and seasoned professionals diverge.
Okay, explain that.
The amateur thinks every click is a potential sale that must be captured at all costs. The professional understands that in the modern internet economy, trust is the actual currency, not clicks.
Trust over clicks.
Yes. According to the framework, the buyer boundary makes the recommendation infinitely stronger and more trustworthy.
Walk me through the psychology of that. How does losing a click build my business?
Let's break down the unit economics of trust. Think
Yeah.
about your own behavior as a consumer. If I come to you and say, this new microphone is flawless, it is the best microphone ever made, everyone on earth needs it, buy it right now, what happens in your brain?
My spam filter goes up immediately because I know for a fact that nothing is perfect for everyone.
Right.
A microphone for a stadium singer is totally different than a microphone for a podcaster. So I'm just going to assume you are lying to me to get a commission.
Precisely. You dismiss me. Now imagine I change my approach. I come to you and say, this microphone is incredible for podcasters who record in a quiet, sound-treated studio because it captures deep vocal resonance.
Okay.
But, and this is important, if you are a vlogger who records outside in the wind, or if you don't have a quiet room, you should absolutely skip this. It will pick up every background noise. Buy a dynamic mic instead. What happens now?
Wow. The dynamic completely shifts.
How so?
I trust you instantly.
Yeah.
And I trust you because you just sacrificed a potential sale to give me good protective advice.
Exactly. If you are the studio podcaster, you feel like I'm speaking directly to your soul. The product feels custom made for you.
And if I'm the outdoor vlogger, you just saved me $200 and a massive headache.
Right. You didn't buy the mic, so I didn't get a commission today. But who are you going to go to next week when you need a recommendation for a camera?
I'm coming back to you. You've become an advisor, not a salesperson. I'm a customer for life because I know you won't sell me garbage just to make a buck.
That is the power of the buyer boundary. It acts as a magnet.
A magnet.
Yes. By clearly defining who is outside the boundary, the people inside the boundary feel infinitely more confident in making the purchase.
It proves you've actually evaluated the product's limitations. You aren't just reading a spec sheet.
Exactly. You understand the reality of using it.
That is so powerful. It shifts the entire dynamic from, please buy this so I can get paid, to, let me help you figure out if this actually fits your wife.
Spot on.
So for our fictional TaskFlow Pro, the boundary might be, if you're an agency with more than 10 employees, skip this. The reporting features are too basic for enterprise needs, and you will outgrow it in a month.
Perfect. Any solo freelancer reading that will say, great, I don't need enterprise reporting anyway, this is exactly my speed.
Okay, so to finish out the snapshot, we have to define two more things, our proof level and our affiliate relationship.
Right. And this is simply about baseline honesty. Did you actually use the product? Did you just research it? Are you just comparing public features on a pricing page?
Whatever the truth is, you document it in the snapshot.
And you document exactly what your financial relationship is with the brand. Are you getting a standard commission? Was the product gifted to you? Is it a sponsored post where you were paid a flat fee? You must lay this out clearly.
But why is it so important to put this into the AI prompt? Can't I just tack the disclosure on at the end myself?
Because if you don't tell the AI your proof level, the AI will invent one.
Oh, right.
AI systems are designed to be compelling storytellers. If you ask it to write a review of TaskFlow Pro and you don't explicitly say, I have only researched this tool, the AI might generate a deeply emotional paragraph about how TaskFlow Pro saved your agency from bankruptcy 3 years ago.
It invents a fake personal experience.
Yes, and the framework explicitly warns against this. Because if you publish a post implying you've used a software for 3 years, and a reader comments asking a highly specific technical question about how to integrate it with another tool,
You are instantly exposed as a fraud.
your credibility is destroyed.
So once we have all these pieces, the specific buyer, the practical problem, the factual fit, the protective boundary, the honest proof, and the transparent relationship, we combine them into a single, clean recommendation statement.
Yes, the formula the framework gives is essentially, I recommend X for Y who need help with Z because of this fit reason. It may not be the right fit for this boundary.
It is the ultimate litmus test, and the rule of thumb provided is brilliant. If you write that single sentence and it feels vague, you have to go back and fix your buyer or your problem.
Yep. If it sounds pushy, you soften your fit reason.
If it sounds fake, you have to clarify your proof level. You do not move forward. You don't open an AI tool. You don't pass go until that foundation is rock solid.
I really appreciate that discipline. It forces you to actually think like a marketer rather than just acting as a human router for a hyperlink.
Okay, so we've built the spine. We've successfully avoided the commission panic. Our recommendation is grounded in reality, honesty, and deep buyer context.
The hard work is done?
Now we finally have the right input to feed the machine. This is where the actual writing begins. We are bringing our snapshot to the AI.
This is where the magic happens, provided you've done that pre-work. The Starter Lab framework provides a specific methodology here, utilizing a custom AI agent called the Affiliate Article Builder.
The Affiliate Article Builder.
Right. You take your completed product fit snapshot and you feed it directly into this builder. But there is a crucial, non-negotiable rule here regarding format.
Yes, this caught my eye in the source. It says you must ask the AI for one specific asset format. You cannot just ask it for some content to post online.
Exactly. You have to tell the builder what container this content is going to live in.
Like, are you writing a short product recommendation post for LinkedIn?
Or are you writing an in-depth 2,000-word buyer guide for your blog? A side-by-side product comparison? A conversational email to your newsletter subscribers? You must pick exactly one format per prompt.
Okay, let me push back on that too. Because again, it feels like I'm restricting the AI's potential.
How so?
If I'm doing the work to prompt it, why not just say, write me a blog post and also give me 3 tweets, a LinkedIn post, and an email based on that blog post. I see people doing that all the time.
You do see people doing that all the time, and the results are almost universally mediocre.
Really?
Because different formats require entirely different psychological pacing, structural elements, and user expectations.
What do you mean by psychological pacing?
Think about how you read an email versus how you read a blog post. An email is an intimate space. It needs a compelling subject line, a conversational hook, and it needs to feel like a one-on-one letter. It paces itself like a story.
Okay, I see that.
A blog post, on the other hand, is usually found via search. The reader is looking for information quickly. It needs to be broken up with clear headings, bullet points, and scannable sections.
And a social media post needs to hook the reader in the first 3 words and drive to a conclusion within 60 seconds.
Exactly. So if you ask the AI to write a blog post and a tweet in the same breath, it gets confused about the pacing. It will give you a blog post that sounds too conversational, or a tweet that reads like a textbook outline.
It creates a weird hybrid that just doesn't work well anywhere.
Precisely. You must constrain the AI to one specific format so it can optimize the structure and the vocabulary for that exact medium.
Okay, so let's talk about the prompt itself. We established earlier that the weak commission panic prompt is just, write me a post about this product.
The worst prompt.
Right. But the strong prompt provided in this framework is practically an architectural blueprint. It is fascinating how prescriptive and detailed it is.
It truly is a masterclass in AI communication. The prompt doesn't just ask for an outcome, it provides a rigid operational structure.
Right.
It literally starts by saying, I am creating one affiliate content asset. Please help me draft a clear, useful, disclosure-aware affiliate asset based on this brief.
And then it explicitly lists out every single element from your product fit snapshot. The exact product, the highly specific buyer, the situational problem,
The factual fit reason, the buyer boundary, your proof level.
your affiliate relationship, the specific content format, and finally, the tone.
The tone instruction is fantastic. It says clear, practical, honest, buyer first, not hype heavy.
It's like the difference between walking into a restaurant and telling a chef to just make me food.
Versus giving them a highly specific recipe, listing your exact dietary restrictions,
Right.
and explaining your preferred flavor profile.
Exactly. You are leaving nothing up to the AI's imagination. You are providing the high-quality ingredients, and the AI is merely doing the cooking.
That chef analogy is perfectly on point. And to make sure the chef plates the meal correctly, the prompt even gives a structural checklist for the output.
Right. It doesn't just let the AI ramble.
No, it asks the AI to construct the piece using specific building blocks. A strong hook, a short intro naming the problem, a clear explanation of who it's for, a product fit section,
A section entirely dedicated to the limitation or boundary.
a placeholder for a simple, plain language affiliate disclosure, and a clear call to action.
And it ends with what I think is the most important part, a strict negative constraint.
Yes.
It tells the AI exactly what not to do. It says, avoid fake personal experience, exaggerated claims, fake urgency income promises, health claims, or unsupported results.
It is building the ethical guardrails right into the request. When you feed an LLM a negative constraint, it acts as a filter, drastically reducing the probability that it will generate those spammy, infomercial-style phrases we talked about earlier.
Okay, so let's say we run this massive, detailed prompt for our TaskFlow Pro software. The AI processes it and spits out a draft. We don't just blindly accept it, right?
Ever.
The framework talks about the need to evaluate the output, looking for what it calls strong draft signals versus weak draft signals. How do we know if the AI actually did a good job?
This is a critical evaluation skill that anyone using AI needs to develop. You cannot outsource your judgment. A strong draft signal means the AI successfully adopted your constraints.
What does that look like?
You'll read it and notice that the buyer persona feels specific. The product fit is logical and not overblown. The limitation is clearly stated, making the content feel trustworthy. And the CTA, the call to action, is useful rather than pushy.
Let's drill down into that last point. Give me an example of a useful CTA versus a pushy one, because I think a lot of people, especially beginners, really struggle with this. We are so conditioned by traditional marketing to be aggressive.
Absolutely. A pushy CTA is what we're all used to seeing and ignoring. Buy now before the price goes up. Click the link to change your life today. Don't miss out on the ultimate solution.
Ugh.
It relies entirely on fake urgency and hyperbole. It assumes the buyer is an idiot who can be pressured into a transaction.
It's exhausting to read.
A useful CTA, which is what this framework strongly advocates for, sounds entirely different. It might sound like this. Check the current price and compare the features against your current setup before deciding.
Hmm.
Or start with the 14-day free plan to see if the client portal actually fits your workflow.
Oh, that is brilliant. It completely changes the relationship.
Doesn't it?
It's the difference between a commissioned salesperson trying to hit a monthly quota and a paid consultant giving you sound, objective advice. Start with the free plan is such a disarming CTA because it actively lowers the barrier to entry while building immense trust.
Right.
You're literally telling the reader not to spend money yet if they aren't ready.
Exactly. You are giving them permission to evaluate, which paradoxically makes them much more likely to ultimately click and try the product.
So true. Now, what if you evaluate the draft and you get weak draft signals? What if, despite your great prompt, the AI still slips up and spits out something that sounds like a generic ad, uses vague benefits, hides the disclosure, or claims this is the best tool without explaining best for whom?
Because AI is stubborn, right? Sometimes it just really wants to write marketing copy.
It loves the hype.
The framework provides specific revision prompts for exactly those scenarios. You don't have to rewrite it yourself. You just coach the AI.
How do you coach it?
If the draft is too generic, you reply and tell the AI to make the buyer problem, and the product fit more specific to the brief. Remove all hype, fake urgency, and unsupported claims.
Right. And if it sounds too aggressive, you tell it to make the recommendation feel useful rather than pushy. Keep the CTA clear, but softer. Make it an invitation to explore, not a demand to buy.
You are iterating with the AI. You're treating it like a junior copywriter who just handed in a draft that is a little too salesy. You coach it back to the trust-first baseline.
Okay, so let's say we've iterated. We have a draft that feels great. It's honest. It clearly states our buyer boundary. It is a soft, helpful CTA. I'm feeling really good about it. I highlight the text, I copy it, I open up LinkedIn, I paste it in, and I hit publish. I'm ready to watch the helpful clicks roll in.
If you do that, you are walking straight into a legal and ethical minefield. Stop right there.
Wait, really? Did I just fail the framework? What did I do wrong?
You missed a massive invisible danger zone. Because even with a great recipe and a solid first draft that looks good to the naked eye, the content is still not ready for the public.
But we just spent all this time fixing it.
The Starter Lab framework is adamant about this point. Good copy does not equal safe copy. A polished, pleasant-sounding draft can still contain major trust problems or serious compliance issues. It requires a distinct, separate safety layer.
Interesting. So the drafting AI isn't trusted to check its own work. That brings us to the next major phase of the workflow, the safety layer, utilizing the affiliate disclosure and trust checker.
Yes. The framework provides a completely separate, custom-built AI agent just for this step.
But honestly, let me play devil's advocate here.
Go for it.
I am a busy person. I just spent 20 minutes building a snapshot and another 15 minutes prompting and revising a draft. I'm tired.
Sure.
Isn't a quick hashtag ad or hashtag partner at the very bottom of the post enough to cover my bases? Why do I need to run a whole separate AI check just for trust? It feels like tedious extra work for a draft I already polished.
It feels like extra work right up until the moment you realize that trust is the only reason people buy from you, instead of just opening a new tab and buying directly from Google.
Wow, okay.
And beyond that, it is about regulatory compliance. The framework is unequivocally clear on this. It says, trust compounds when honest. If the reader has to decode your relationship with the brand, it is not clear enough.
If the reader has to decode the relationship, that hits hard. Because I see that all the time, putting hashtag SPI or hashtag affiliate hidden in a cloud of 30 other hashtags at the very bottom of an Instagram caption.
That is not being transparent. It's technically compliant in the loosest, most legally gray sense, but it entirely fails the human trust test.
Right.
If I have to squint to figure out if you're getting paid, I instantly assume you're trying to hide it. And if you are trying to hide it, I assume the product isn't actually very good.
So what does this trust checker AI actually look for?
Yeah.
Because it's not just scanning for the word ad, is it?
No, the disclosure is just the foundational part. The trust checker is designed to act as an objective, ruthless editor. It reviews the draft across several strict dimensions: disclosure clarity, disclosure placement, claim safety, buyer usefulness, CTA trust, and experience honesty.
That's a lot.
You paste your final draft into the second AI, you reiterate your actual proof level and your actual affiliate relationship, and you ask it to pair the draft apart looking for red flags.
Let's unpack some of these specific checks because the examples provided in the framework are incredibly eye-opening. We touched on disclosure clarity. The text explicitly calls out weak disclosures. Things like partner link, thanks to the brand for supporting, my link is below, and of course, hashtag SBYEM. Why are these considered weak if they technically mention some kind of association?
Because they are vague and they rely on industry jargon, the average consumer might not fully grasp what partner link means. Does that mean you own the company? Does it mean you get a discount? Does it mean you get cash?
Right, thanks to the brand could just mean you really like their customer service.
Exactly. The framework insists on absolute plain language. A strong disclosure leaves zero room for misinterpretation. It suggests something like, this post contains affiliate links. I may earn a commission if you purchase through my link at no extra cost to you.
Or even simpler, affiliate link. I may earn a commission if you buy through this link. It's unmistakable.
It respects the reader's intelligence.
And placement matters too, right? You can't just have a great disclosure but bury it where no one will see it.
Exactly. The framework states it should appear before or near the affiliate link. Do not hide it at the bottom if the recommendation and link appear near the top. The reader needs the context before they click.
But let's look beyond just the disclosure, because this is where the AI really acts as a safety net for your reputation. Let's talk about claim safety. The trust checker is programmed to aggressively flag absolute phrases.
Oh, the internet is built on absolute phrases, and AI models love them.
Right? Things like guaranteed results, best tool for everyone, works instantly, fixes everything, no effort required.
Yes. And what happens in your mind when you read a software review that says, this tool fixes everything instantly?
I roll my eyes and keep scrolling. I know for a fact it's a lie. Nothing fixes everything and nothing is instant. It just makes the writer look foolish or desperate.
Exactly. The trust checker acts as a filter for that desperation. It will catch those absolute phrases and suggest replacing them with grounded, legally safer, and logically sound wording.
So instead of guaranteed results,
It will suggest, may help improve efficiency. Instead of everyone needs this, it will suggest a strong fit for this specific use case. It forces you to tone down the hyperbole and speak like a rational adult.
it's essentially acting as a legal and ethical editor. I love that. And then there's the dimension of experience honesty. The framework says, do not imply that you personally used, tested, or achieved results from a product unless that is true. If you research the product instead, say that.
We touched on this earlier, but I want to dive deeper because this is where AI hallucination is the most dangerous.
It really is.
AI models are essentially people pleasers. They want to give you a compelling narrative. If you are writing about TaskFlow Pro and you don't aggressively monitor the output, the AI might subtly slip in a phrase like, ever since I switched my agency to TaskFlow Pro last year, my revenue has doubled.
Which sounds like great copy, but it's complete fabrication.
And it is the fastest way to permanently lose an audience. Trust compounds when the content is relentlessly honest about what you know, and just as importantly, what you do not know yet.
That's a great point.
There is absolutely zero shame in saying, I haven't used this software for my own business yet, but I spent 4 hours comparing the public documentation and pricing tiers of these two tools, and here is exactly what I found.
That is such a liberating concept. I think a lot of creators feel this immense imposter syndrome, like they have to pretend to be the ultimate top-tier power user of every single product they mention.
But they don't. You just have to be honest about your vantage point. Providing a well-researched synthesis of a tool is highly valuable to a buyer who doesn't have 4 hours to spare reading technical documentation.
Exactly. You are providing the service of curation and analysis. You don't have to be a user to be a valuable guide as long as you are transparent about your role.
Right.
Okay, so we run our draft through the Trust Checker AI, and the agent spits back a list of trust issues it found, a clear disclosure sentence to use, and specific edits to soften our claims. The framework actually provides a specific order of operations for applying these fixes. It doesn't want you to just blindly accept all the changes at once.
Yes, it is very methodical. It tells you to triage the issues and focus on the highest risk fixes first.
Okay, so what's number one?
Number 1, fix the disclosure. Make sure it is clear and visible. Number 2, remove or soften any unsupported absolute claims. Number 3, clarify your proof level. Fix any hallucinations about your personal experience.
And
And then, once the high-risk stuff is handled, you add more buyer context, ensure the limitation is prominent, and clean up the CTA so it is an invitation, not a demand.
it explicitly notes, do not rewrite everything unless the trust checker says the content is structurally weak. A trust review is a cleanup pass, not a demolition permit.
I really appreciate that guidance. We aren't throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We are just tightening the bolts and checking the structural integrity.
Right. And once you've applied those specific fixes, you do a final human publishing check. You don't just rely on the AI.
Yes.
You manually read the draft and confirm every statement is true, the relationship is clear, the claims are supportable, the buyer knows exactly who should skip it, and the CTA is helpful. Once you, the human, check those boxes, your draft has cleared the safety net.
Done and dusted.
Okay, so now the draft is technically ready. I've survived the trust checker. I'm safe to publish. I grab the text. I finally post it to my blog or my newsletter. I close my laptop and I go grab a coffee. Mission accomplished, right? The workflow is done.
Well, congratulations. You successfully created exactly one piece of high-quality, trustworthy content. But if you stop there, you are missing the final, most crucial step that separates amateurs who constantly burn out from professionals who build sustainable systems. You've won the battle today, but you haven't secured the war. You haven't made tomorrow any easier.
Ah, right. The systems part. The framework says one finished affiliate asset is useful. A repeatable workflow is better. Why is that? What actually happens if I just keep doing this one-off, starting from scratch every time I want to post a new link?
The framework calls it content chaos, and it describes a scenario we are all intimately familiar with. Let's say you write a brilliant, highly converting post about TaskFlow Pro today.
Oh.
A month from now, you decide you want to write another recommendation for a different tool, maybe a microphone, but you forgot what specific prompt you used to get that great result. You lost that perfectly crafted plain language disclosure sentence. You can't remember the exact criteria you used for the product fit snapshot, so what do?
I open up a blank AI chat and try to remember how I did it last time?
Exactly. You start from zero. You try to reinvent the wheel from memory. It takes 3 times as long. You forget the negative constraints. The AI hallucinates. The quality is inconsistent. And the entire process feels like a massive chore. That is content chaos.
It's exhausting just thinking about it. It's like a chef throwing away their recipe book after every single shift and try to remember how to make the soup the next morning.
Exactly.
So how do we systemize it? How do we build what the framework calls a mini SOP, or standard operating procedure?
Step 1 of this final phase is actually packaging the draft for the specific platform it's going to live on. The framework smartly notes that publishing is not just copy and paste. Publishing is the final packaging step.
What does packaging mean in this context?
It means formatting the text for human consumption in its final environment. A 500-word block of text might be great for a blog, provided it has clear headings and short sections so it can be scanned.
Right.
But if you take that same block of text and dump it on LinkedIn or Instagram, no one is reading it. It needs proper line spacing, maybe a few relevant emojis to break up the visual monotony, and a strong first line.
And an email needs a clear subject line and preview text.
Exactly. You have to format the raw text for the environment it will live in.
Right. The medium is the message. So you format it, and then you save the pieces. What exactly are we saving into this mini SOP? Do I just save the final post?
No, saving just the final post doesn't help you recreate the process. You are saving 4 specific modular items into whatever system you use to organize your life. Whether that's Notion, a Google Doc, Airtable, or just a folder on your desktop.
Okay, what are the 4 items?
First, you save your completed product fit snapshot. That becomes your historical recommendation brief.
So if someone asks me a year from now why I recommended TaskFlow Pro, I have the exact logic documented.
Exactly. Second, you save the exact draft prompt you used for the affiliate article builder. If that specific phrasing yielded a great result, you want to keep it. Next time, you can just swap out the product details and keep the structural instructions.
Smart.
Third, you save your perfected disclosure sentence so you never have to guess if you are compliant again. And fourth, you save the final asset itself as a baseline example of what good looks like for your brand.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
You are basically building a customized template based on your own successful execution. I also noticed the framework is incredibly particular about naming conventions for these saved files.
Yes.
It recommends a specific formula: affiliate asset, then product or category, then platform, then date. For example, affiliate asset email platform for coaches LinkedIn, 2026-05-14.
Yes. Naming conventions sound incredibly boring, but they are the absolute bedrock of an organized digital life. If you just save the file as draft 2 final or software post, you will literally never find it again when you need it.
Never.
This naming convention tells you exactly what the product is, the intended audience, where it was published, and when, just by glancing at the file name. It makes retrieving your past work effortless.
It's the opposite of the raccoon in the filing cabinet. It's a perfectly indexed drawer. And tracking is part of this too, right? The workflow says to track where the asset was published, the link you used, the disclosure, and then there's a section called the optional repurpose step.
Ah, yes, repurposing, the holy grail of modern content creation.
Right.
The idea that you can take one asset and turn it into 10. You have this great deep dive buyer guide you just wrote. You could easily feed it back into an AI and turn it into a short social post, a thread, a Pinterest description, a short video script.
But the framework actually gives a really funny, pointed warning here. I have to read it verbatim. For now, capture one repurpose idea. Do not build the full content universe today unless you enjoy opening 17 tabs and arguing with your own ambition.
So good.
I have to say, I felt personally attacked by that sentence. I am absolutely the person who opens 17 tabs and gets overwhelmed by my own grand plans.
It is a brilliant piece of advice. It is deeply recognizing human nature. We get excited when we create something good, especially when AI makes it feel relatively easy, and we instantly want to scale it to the moon.
We want to be everywhere all at once.
But the goal of this specific starter lab isn't to build a massive, complex, multi-platform content machine in one afternoon.
What is the goal then?
The goal is to prove the workflow works once. Save the baseline. Master the single iteration. Prove to yourself that you can get from a blank page to a highly trustworthy published asset without succumbing to commission panic.
Restraint is actually built into the workflow as a feature, not a bug.
Absolutely. Because once you have that saved, repeatable workflow, think about what happens next week. Next week, when you want to recommend a new camera lens or a new marketing course, you aren't staring at a blank screen feeling anxious.
You just open your mini SOP.
You fill out a new snapshot, you feed it to the exact prompt you already know works, you run it through the trust checker you already know how to use, and you're done in a fraction of the time with guaranteed high quality.
You have effectively turned a single AI-assisted draft into a small, reliable operating system for your business.
That's it.
Okay, let's step back and look at the massive amount of ground we have covered today. We started with the sheer, frenetic anxiety of commission panic, the urge to grab a link, throw it at a language model with zero context, and ending up with an ad wearing a fake mustache. The raccoon tearing up the filing cabinet.
A terrible, noisy, ineffective way to do marketing that actively destroys your audience's trust.
Truly. And we solved it by forcing ourselves to slow down. We built the spine of the content with the product fit snapshot. We forced ourselves to articulate exactly who the specific buyer is, what practical problem they're trying to solve, why the product factually fits, and critically, we drew the buyer boundary.
Yes.
We explicitly stated who should absolutely skip the product.
Which counterintuitively acts as a magnet for the right buyers.
Yeah.
And we didn't hide our relationship with the brand or hallucinate our expertise. We laid our proof level and affiliate relationship out clearly, preventing the AI from inventing a fake backstory.
Right. Then and only then did we involve the AI. We used the affiliate article builder and fed it a highly prescriptive architectural prompt to generate one specific format, whether that was a buyer guide or a social post.
We evaluated it, looking for those strong draft signals, ensuring we had a soft, useful CTA like start a free trial instead of a pushy, desperate demand to buy now.
But we didn't trust the machine blindly. We recognized that good copy is not always safe copy. We took that draft to the safety layer.
The affiliate disclosure and trust checker. We subjected our draft to a ruthless AI editor. We made sure our disclosure was in plain, unmistakable English and placed visibly at the top, not buried in hashtags at the bottom.
We scrubbed the copy for absolute claims like guaranteed results and softened them into honest, supportable assessments. We ensured we weren't projecting fake personal experience.
And finally, we didn't just publish and forget it. We formatted for the platform and we built our mini SOP. We saved our snapshot, our prompt, our disclosure, and our final asset with a clear, searchable naming convention.
We created an operating system for future content while resisting the urge to open 17 tabs and overcomplicate things with immediate repurposing.
It really is a complete paradigm shift from how most people are taught to do affiliate marketing. It is moving from being a desperate salesperson trying to extract value from an audience to being a trusted advisor creating value for them.
It is the only sustainable way forward. If we connect this to the bigger picture of the internet today, people are drowning in AI-generated slop. They are drowning in fake reviews, aggressive sales pitches, and endless noise.
Yes, they are.
The only way your content survives, the only way you build an actual brand, and the only way your links actually convert is if your content is undeniably structurally grounded in truth, specificity, and helpfulness.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, before we wrap up, we always like to leave you with something to chew on, something that builds on what we discussed today. So what is the final provocative thought for this deep dive?
I want you to think about the last time you clicked an affiliate link and actually bought something. Think really hard about that specific moment of decision. I guarantee you it wasn't because the creator used a flashy font or because they had a giant urgent buy now button flashing on the screen.
Definitely not.
It was almost certainly because they clearly articulated a boundary or a specific use case that made you realize you were the exact right fit. They probably told you what the product couldn't do, which made you implicitly trust their claims about what it could do.
Right.
So my question for you to mull over is this. In your own marketing, in your own communications, how can you start using boundaries not as a way to turn people away, but as a magnetic force to attract your perfect buyer?
That is fantastic. Use boundaries to attract, not repel. I love that. So if you're listening to this and you want to put this framework to the test today, don't try to build a massive funnel. Just choose one tool or product that you use weekly in your own life or business.
Just one.
Just one. Before you write a single word of content about it, sit down and write out its buyer boundary. Identify exactly who should skip this product, who should wait to buy it, or who should compare it to another option first. Just notice how defining who it is not for immediately makes it incredibly clear who you actually should be recommending it to. It is an absolute game changer. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.